Good morning and happy Monday to you. My name is LaShonda Brown, and welcome to Bootstrap Biz Advice Live, where I teach service providers how to work less and live more by leveraging tech and YouTube. I am so glad that you are here because today I want to share some advice for you that will help you to network as an online business owner. I said this in my newsletter this morning, but a lot of people will say that your network determines your net worth. I'm sure you've heard people say it's all about who you know, but how do you take your business from being, the best kept secret to being well known as a thought leader in your industry? Networking is something that my husband and I did a lot when we started our video production company. And this was long before we knew that you could make money marketing your business with social media. This is back in 2011 when all we had was basically a Facebook business page. So today I wanted to share that information because I'm going to be able to implement some of those things that I'm sharing with you today in action. So this month I had the opportunity to speak at a couple different events. One is in a completely different state, and that is South by Southwest. I'm super excited that I'll be speaking there on Sunday. And then at the end of the month, I'll be heading back up to Northern Virginia to be a speaker at the Signature CEO Conference, where we talk about memberships. And so I am really excited to have these opportunities to not only teach you different techniques that you can use in business, but to actually apply them to my own business and then report back on how that works out. So first things first, I want to make sure you all know that when you like my videos, you help more people to find me on YouTube. I've been watching my numbers, and it has been incredible to see how your engagement is helping to grow this channel. A lot of people aren't as comfortable with live streaming and they don't see as much of the value, but I'm telling you right now, if you can get folks to engage on your live stream content, you will see your channel passively grow without you having to edit. So that is one of the biggest reasons why I try to start my week out by showing up here at 10 o'clock. So an easy way for you to support the channel is simply to like this live stream if you like it. And even if you are watching the replay right now, your likes and your comments still help to push this content out in front of more people. So I want you to also engage in the comments if you are watching live, because I can pop your comments up on screen. And that's a great way for us to go back and forth and really dig in deep into this topic. So make sure that you locate the comment section and feel free to comment throughout this live stream. Now, we are at the beginning of a new month, which means we have a new workshop coming up. So before I hop into the content, I want to give you a little preview on what you can expect inside of the Bootstrap membership. There are specific reasons why brands don't respond when you slide into their DMs or contact them using the press email from their website. Join us on March 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern for a special workshop about how to craft a sponsorship no brand will ignore. Justin Moore, the founder of Creator Wizard and the sponsorship coach behind the book Sponsor Magnet, will teach us the main reasons why brands are ghosting you, why you should think like a consultant and not just a creator, plus how to use the rope method to pitch partnerships brands actually want to pay you for. To secure your seat in class, visit bootstrapbizadvice.com to become a member today. So I hope you guys are able to join us next week to talk about this, because brand partnerships have been a huge reason why my business has taken off. And so I want to make sure that you are there to get this information. Sponsor Magnet just came out recently, which is written by Justin Moore. And so I'm really excited to have him inside of the membership community to share about his area of expertise with crafting sponsorship pitches. So that is what we're going to be talking about inside the membership this month, and I hope you guys can join us. If you would like to join the membership, you can go to bootstrapbizadvice.com to become either a Bootstrap Star student, which is our workshop subscription, or you can also become a Bootstrap creator, which is the content marketing membership. So all that information is available on the website. All right. So I see that Renee is here this morning. Renee was also the most engaged member inside of the community in February. So she received a prize of a $50 Visa gift card. So thank you, Renee, for being here live. Love seeing that happy profile picture when I click on your comments. So thank you so much. So, like I said, I wanted to share some networking tips with you, but I also want to share another opportunity for you all to network and for you to learn online. So, this month is Women's Month. International Women's Day takes place on next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, excuse me. And so, instead of me celebrating it on Saturday while everyone is, trying to relax and unwind from the week, we are going to celebrate on Thursday. So this Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be going live on the channel and on LinkedIn to host the Women in Tech Founder Roundtable. Now, I want to give you a little bit of the behind the scenes of the strategy because I think that roundtables are a fantastic way for you all to network, but also for you all to generate content through collaborations. So this was, I believe, the very first roundtable that I did last year, and NG was actually the sponsor last year. And what I realized is it was such a dynamic live stream, having multiple different voices to share their founder stories and to share their expertise. So if you have not tried this format, if you are interested in live streaming and you've never attempted this before, I do have a video about how to schedule live stream guests for your live streams under the StreamYard playlist. And this particular live stream is coming up this week and will be a great opportunity for you to learn from Paulina, from Tuama, and from Taylor. Now, here's the deal. Hype HQ is also a fantastic way for you to kind of hybrid network between offline and online. A Hype HQ is a growth tool that's going to help you to grow visibility on LinkedIn. And it is a platform that I have been leveraging heavily for my brand because I am trying to loosen my grip on Instagram and to grow my LinkedIn to the point where that is a viable option for marketing my business. So if you are interested in growing on LinkedIn, in having more of a presence on that platform, definitely give Hype HQ a try, which is the sponsor for the live stream. But tune in on Thursday to hear from the founder of Hype HQ about how she got to where she is today. So that is available on LinkedIn. It looks like this. If you go to RSVP, like I said, I'm going to multi-stream this to YouTube as well. But if you want to receive notifications and reminders, RSVPing on LinkedIn is a great way for you to do that. So this is what the event looks like. It is hosted on my LinkedIn page. So make sure you check that out and simply RSVP. I do want to give a quick shout out to Lolita for reposting it. That is actually a great example of one of the things that I'm going to share today. And so if you are attending, feel free to repost it. And I will also engage in the comments when you repost. So that is a quick update on that. All right, my friends. Oh, Lolita's here. Fantastic. So you just got a shout out. Make sure that you go check out her Joyful Spark and follow Dr. Lolita on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. She's active there as well. All right, my friends. So I really want to talk about online networking because I have realized how powerful it is for helping you to elevate your business. And I want to give you some practical strategies to do that. So first and foremost, I want you to consider in-person conferences. Like I said, I'm going to be going to a couple this month. I know it's not always within the cards to do that, but in-person conferences are a fantastic way for you to network and for you to take offline relationships and bring them online versus online and make them offline, if that makes sense. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do, and I know it's super old school, but I want you to have a business card so that it's easier for you to exchange contact information. I have noticed that at a lot of in-person events, people are still relying very heavily on, follow me on Instagram, follow me on LinkedIn, and all of that stuff is super helpful. However, having something tangible that people can look at to exchange contact information is super helpful, because sometimes in person, I've noticed that the internet access isn't always great. Okay. So I have gone to conferences where they have the conference Wi Fi and they say, okay, here's the information that you need to log into it. And inevitably, something goes wrong. Or you have those digital business cards and you try to scan it to add people's contact information and it doesn't go through. So let me show you the revamp of my business card, because I wanted to take into consideration that, okay, it's 2025. Are we still even doing business cards? Is it even worth it? And I think the way I designed this business card versus what I used to do in the past will serve as some inspiration for you to maybe revamp how you're doing things. So naturally, I did it in Canva. You already know Canva is my platform of choice when it comes to graphic design. But the first thing that I did, first and foremost, is I did a vertical business card. And so sometimes you can cut through the clutter and you can cut through the noise simply by taking something that people are used to seeing and just doing it slightly different. So simply by taking my business card and turning it from horizontal to vertical has helped it to stand out and convert higher for people. Okay. So on, I'll say the back of the card, you have my Bootstrap logo, the Bootstrap URL, the app images so that people are reminded that I have an app. And then I did a circular QR code. All of that is available within Canva to do. Okay. So that's what one side of the business card looks like. Then on the other side, I decided to include an image. Many of you are not putting images on your business cards, and you literally want to help people to put a face to the name. Once people go through those in-person conferences and they're, shuffling through all their papers from different breakouts that they've done and different people that they've met, how are you going to be memorable? And one of the easiest ways to do that is simply by including a high quality color image of yourself. So I included a photo of myself at the top, and then I gave a description as to what it is that I do, included an email address, and then I also decided to drive traffic to my tools page, because my tools page is something that I'm constantly referring people to when I market online. So when I'm marketing in person at these in-person conferences and I'm referring people to different tech tools, or I'm simply mentioning it over a meal, by me having that link there to remind them where to go, I am increasing conversions on my affiliate links simply by attending an in-person event. And so sometimes, we think about when we go to a conference, what we're looking to get out of it is just education. But the purpose of attending events is not just to consume more info, but it is to expand your network and in a lot of cases, expand your horizons. I have learned so much from other speakers. And so being open to just hearing how people are doing things slightly differently is going to help you to grow your business by just getting ideas from outside influences. So I want you to consider when you go to these events, be willing to exchange your contact info and be willing to exchange it in such a way where it is a bit more memorable than maybe what you've done in the past. Okay. So again, that vertical business card is something new that I tried out. And I even had Canva printed on a higher quality cardstock. So it's thicker. So it's more of the thickness of like a credit card versus just a sheet of paper. And even just having a heavier cardstock will cause people to grab it and go like, oh, this is different. So again, you want to be memorable, you want to be different, you want to cut through the noise, and that's a very simple way for you to do it. All right, awesome. Oh, Camila's here as well. Fantastic. So you guys keep chatting in the comments because I'll make sure that you're seen, but I'm going to keep going through some of these tips for you. I want you to start thinking about having a specific coffee chat link for the people that you meet at the conference. Okay. This is something that I have learned from the past, that when you're trying to continue the conversation, the quickest way for you to continue that conversation is simply by scheduling a virtual coffee chat to say, okay, we had a great time at this conference. But now I want to talk about one on one. What do next steps look like? How can we support each other? How can we collaborate? And so, if you already have that coffee chat link ready, that is different from a normal link that you would have in your online scheduler, it's also going to help remind you how you met those people and to really curate that conversation specifically for the conference. So, say for instance, in my case, one of the things that I'll do is in my virtual coffee chat link, I'll say, is there something specific that you want to talk about? And so, in this case, if you were an attendee or you were a speaker, what are questions that they can answer ahead of that coffee chat that's going to set you up to have a more profitable conversation? I don't mean profitable just in the sense that, oh, you talk to them and immediately make money off of it, but how do you make sure that that time is well used? And so I think a lot of times when we just send people something generic, we end up having generic conversations. And so you get on the call and you're like, oh yeah, I remember you. We met at, Signature CEO conference, for instance. And then you spend a lot of time just kind of warming up to the conversation versus if you had some of those questions answered ahead of time, just like a paid consultation, you can really curate what you guys talk about to make sure that you walk away with something actionable that's going to help both of you. Okay. So, this is a very easy thing to do no matter what online scheduler you use. I'm a big fan of Calendly, but you can just go in. If you already have a virtual coffee chat link, just duplicate it and then customize those questions before people book a call that will help you be better prepared for the call and customize it more to the event that you attended. Okay. So this is something that I try to make sure that I do before I go to an event is I kind of make sure that the systems are in place, because if you wait until you get there, again, because of internet, because of things on your itinerary, you're going to be slammed. And so that may not be the best time for you to build systems to implement some of these strategies. Okay. So doing that as part of your prep ahead of time will help you tremendously. Okay, great info. I just attended a conference last week and this would have been good. Well, you know what? You can implement some of these things for the next event for sure. And I'm always looking for ways to kind of tweak what I'm doing. So feel free to take whatever you want and implement as you will. Oh, it's good to see Beth, and it's good to see Cassie as well. Lots of folks in the community. So I'm really glad you guys are here. So again, we talked about exchanging your contact info, having a specific coffee chat link. This is huge. If you take away nothing else from this live stream, I want you to think about this. Have a paid calendar appointment ready before you go. I think sometimes we forget that we don't know where everyone is in the buying journey. And sometimes when people just have a conversation with you at the coffee machine, they are ready to swipe their card and buy from you right in that minute. And so you don't need to have the mindset of, oh, I'm only collecting information to use later. You might actually be able to book some calls in that moment. I want to give you a couple examples of how this has worked out for me, just to give you some ideas of things that you can do. But I attended a conference in Ohio, maybe a couple of years ago at this point, and I did have the opportunity to speak on stage. However, I didn't tangibly make money for my business until we were literally eating Chick-fil-A. We were eating just Chick-fil-A box lunches, and we were talking about, okay, let's get into more detail. What is it that your business does? And here are some problems I'm running into. Do you think you can help me with this? And so in that moment, I started to realize, like, oh my goodness, people aren't just having a conversation with me. I think like they're actually ready to buy. I wasn't really in the mindset of selling hard at this conference. I was simply looking to serve and to focus more on what I was presenting from the stage. Luckily, I did have some of those systems in place. And so, literally, as we're sitting at the table eating our Chick-fil-A lunches, I am sending them links through their DMs on Instagram. And they are literally booking the call, asking me, hey, is this right? Da 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 da, putting in their card information, and boom. Before I left, I had completely covered my costs of attending that conference through what happened over lunch. But if I was trying to set up invoices and do all this workflow stuff in that moment, or telling them, hey, I'll follow up with you when I get back home, the excitement and the thrill would have been gone. Another thing that happened is at a different conference, I had someone want to book a paid consultation with me, and my calendar link was set up to only show available dates within the next maybe 30 days, maybe 60 at the most. And so they were like, hey, I really want to work with you. However, this is a super busy season for me. So, can I book a call with you in May and June? And so I had to go in my laptop. Luckily, I had my laptop with me and expand the window of time where people could book a call so that in that moment, they were able to actually get on my calendar. And so, if you don't have that paid calendar appointment ready, those are some of the things that you may not consider. And so, you want to have that set up before you even go, because again, you don't know where people are in that mindset. They may have already looked at the speaker lineup or look at the attendee lineup and said, oh my goodness, I want to make sure that I talk to so and so before I leave because I have questions about YouTube. I have questions about Canva, what have you. And so if you already have those things set up, you can actually directly generate sales either from the stage or just over lunch if you have the systems. And so I think, as I start to think more about how I can help online business owners to grow their online businesses, it's really thinking about how can I look at technology and treat tech less like just a subscription I'm paying for and more like a virtual assistant. How can I use Calendly? How can I use Flowdesk? How can I use my own website to help me facilitate running my business versus just signing up for all the things and hoping for the best? Okay. So an online scheduler is a saving grace, and then having that appointment type ready that collects payment directly in the online calendar is phenomenal. So if you are used to doing manual invoices and all that stuff, every additional step that you add to the sales process when you are in person gets you further and further away from actually booking that customer because time is super short. Okay. So I hope that is super helpful for you in terms of things for you to think about. I have a couple others, and then I want to talk about how you can actually get more out of online events that you can take offline. Okay. It'll make a lot more sense when we get there. So I want you to think about growing your email list from the stage and following up before you leave. Now, this is something that I definitely had to learn the hard way, is that growing your email list from the stage, or even you could say from the table if you're not a speaker, is a fantastic thing for you to do, but you need to follow up before you leave the conference. I think a lot of us understand that post-conference burnout where you're like, oh, I'm so grateful. I learned all the things. I'm super inspired. I'm super motivated. But as soon as you get back to work, it's like, well, that was awesome, but I've got priorities in this moment. When you follow up before you leave, you capture that excitement in the moment and you don't let the excitement die before you go back home. I've even been to conferences like Affiliate Summit where what I was trying to get out of it wasn't necessarily networking with other small business owners, but it was talking directly to brands. And I noticed that when I started getting people in my system at the event and not waiting for them to follow up by email after we got home, it helped me secure way more brand partners. As soon as we got back, the amount of people that took forever to respond because they're processing through all the business cards and all the connections, it just takes so much longer. And I think for so many of you, you are fighting time challenges. How can you get people who you just met to prioritize your business and what you offer? Well, quickest way to do that is to follow up quickly. I have been an entrepreneur for 14 years now, which is insane. 14 years and in November. So I guess it's like 13 and a half right now. And I have noticed that so many opportunities came down to the follow-up. People chose who followed up the quickest. And so by you having automations in place, by you having systems in place, you're going to increase the opportunities simply by being faster than other folks. Okay. So definitely grow your email list from the stage, because some people may not be ready to buy in that moment, or grow your email list with other attendees. You've got to remember, a lot of people look at in-person conferences and say, if I'm not on the speaker lineup, I can't benefit from this. And in a lot of cases, even attendees can benefit just by interacting with other attendees at breakout sessions or at the table. So really what you're hoping to do is simply make those connections no matter where you're placed in the event, and then following up with people afterwards to build those relationships, not thinking about immediate sales from the beginning, but being open that if someone is ready to work, that you're ready to serve them. Okay. The last thing I want to emphasize that I think gets the least amount of love at in-person events is connecting with the vendors about future partnerships. So when we think about being a speaker, we think about, okay, I'm going to prep my content to speak from the stage. I'm going to try to grow my email list. I want to have my systems in place. So if people want to work with me, I'm ready to do that. But there are tons of conference planners and event planners that leverage vendors or brand partners to cover some of the costs of the events. You can see them in the program, you can see it in the pop-up banners and other things at these events. And a lot of attendees and speakers don't think about networking with those folks. Okay. You've got to remember that even if you are a small business, you can partner with a corporation, you can partner with a larger business. And I'm seeing a huge shift happen online where the small businesses that are able to stand the test of time are the ones who are open to having a diverse client base. They're not just focused on, I can only work with small business owners, but they're saying, okay, if I can also partner with brands who want to reach my target audience or my ideal customer, that's another way that I can have an income stream coming in my business. Sponsorships, and again, we're going to talk about this more next week with Justin. Sponsorships aren't just for influencers. Sponsorships could be, could you sponsor my workshop? Could you sponsor my blog? Could you sponsor my podcast? Think in your mind, like, how amazing would it be if you had your costs covered to market your own business? Think of it more in that way versus just another revenue stream. So when I attend events, yes, I'm focused on the attendees. Yes, I'm focused on serving the event planner who booked me to be there. But I'm also looking for who has a table in the lobby, who has, services that they're marketing in the hallway or in the program, and how can I connect with those people? How can I even ask those brands what other events they're attending to get an idea of maybe a future event that I could attend to grow my business? So I like to become friends with everybody, because I have noticed that even if you can't think of a tangible way that you can partner with someone in the moment, things come up, opportunities come up all the time. And if you have a vast network with good connections already established, then you're going to have a much easier time growing your business and getting your name out there. So anything that you do in your business, I've seen it from newsletters to Instagram to LinkedIn to YouTube. Anything that you're using to market your business can be sponsored by a brand and can help alleviate some of that pressure that you're feeling to market yourself online. So don't forget the vendors. Don't forget to talk to those people. Don't forget to connect with them. You can leverage some of the same ideas of, okay, can I schedule a virtual coffee chat with them? If nothing else, can I exchange contact information with them? Because those relationships will pay off in the long run. And so I wish that if I thought back to some of these conferences I've gone to or expos that I've attended, if I had been more open to just building my network and not worrying about, okay, do I immediately see them buying my product or service, and simply just becoming more well known, that would have paid off dividends. I could have had a much bigger network if I had done some of this stuff early on. And so I want to share this information because a lot of this stuff I've learned in hindsight, and I've seen other people implement it. And I have noticed that by implementing some of these things, you can really speed up the amount of time it takes to grow. Okay. So I'm giving you all this information because it's top of mind. It's stuff that I'm thinking about applying for this month. And so those are some ideas for in-person conferences and ways for you to leverage those. So if you have questions about in-person conferences, go ahead and ask me in the comments. I also want to encourage you that if this was valuable, I'm seeing tons of people come in on this live stream. I want you to go ahead and like this video if you like it. Some other ideas, it doesn't have to be like a huge conference either. Most localities, I'll say that, have a local chamber of commerce or some type of local business association. I also network through my Rotary Club. And so that's a nonprofit organization about giving back and serving others. So you don't have to go to a huge, large business conference. There are probably small opportunities for you where you live. And oftentimes, online business owners are forgetting to have an offline presence in their community. You need people where you live to know what it is that you're doing as well, because those could be potential customers. So whether you're leveraging a big conference or you're going to a local chamber of commerce event or some type of business mixer opportunity, these are some systems that I really want you to have in place so that you can take advantage of those opportunities. All right, Lolita said, I made some connections with a couple of people I would like to interview online. Would reaching out for a coffee chat be the best way to reach out with them? So that is a great question. And I'm going to tell you this. In terms of interviewing people online, I have noticed this. I mean, if you were to go to my website right now, you would see at least 30 different podcasts that I've been interviewed on. I don't think it's lost its luster that people consider it a huge honor to be interviewed on your platform, even if you have a small audience. Because again, people are looking to network. That's the main reason why people are leveraging podcasts as a way to grow their business, because people just need to hear what it is that you do. I know in the case of Groove, one of the co-founders, Josh Green, he went on an ADHD podcast. Groove is a great tool to help people who struggle with ADHD get work done at home. And a lot of new users came in just because they heard about Groove by him being interviewed. So that interview invitation is going to help you to grow your network and get your name out there. Many people have been guests on a podcast before, so they'll understand what it takes to show up and to answer the questions live. If you are working with someone who's brand new to podcasting, what you may want to do is to offer them a 15 to 30-minute call before the interview to set them up for success. So it just depends on how established the person is that you're interviewing. I know that for a lot of people that I've interacted with in the past, if they are like hardcore podcast guesting kind of people and they've done 20 plus, they don't need that onboarding meeting. And the best thing for you to do with them is to simply say, I would love for you to stay on the stream or on the call after we finish the podcast interview, just so we can chat a little bit more when we're done. Okay. So just judge that based on who that person is. If they're more established, then you're more likely to be able to snag their time at the end of the interview. If they are new to being interviewed, offer that time before the call so that they can be prepared to be successful. And that helps both of you. So hopefully that is useful for you there. Okay. Jess Ekstrom had an event in person locally, and I attended last month and met some great people, but I was not prepared to earn, but just make connections. But next event, I will do better. Yes. So Jess Ekstrom just launched a new, I guess I'll just say offer for speakers. I know that she's doing that in partnership with Lindsay, I believe. And so you're going to see a lot more online business owners doing in-person events as well, little pop-up things. So yeah, so I definitely encourage you to find some of those opportunities. Jess is doing a great job with that through Mic Drop Workshop. And so they're great people to learn from. And so again, I would make sure that some of those systems are in place so you can leverage it when you are there in person. And I will say this, I think that there is a dynamic where people are wanting informal interactions, but formal systems. And I think we've talked about this in the past, but it's like when I'm talking to you one on one, I want it to feel personal. I want it to feel like you're my new best friend. But once you funnel me into your business systems, once you onboard me for a virtual coffee chat, or you want me to join your membership, or you want me to book a call, your system should be super formal and straightforward. And so that's the magic combination. You want people to connect with you personally in an informal way. So you don't have to be super professional or super uptight. But as soon as they are going into your online business, you want to make sure it's very straightforward. You want to make sure that it's clear, that it's easy to navigate, very few clicks, mobile friendly, all the things. And so I think a lot of times the easiest way to go about that is by having very simple systems and making sure as much that can be integrated at one time as possible is the best thing to do. So again, with like the paid calendar invite, it's like you go in Calendly, put in your name and email address, you book the time, you pay, boom, you're done. I'm not sending you a formal invoice. I'm not taking your credit card and trying to do a Square transaction. I'm not Zelling you. I'm not Venmoing you, like none of that stuff. You want to make sure that everything is integrated and the systems are simple to increase your conversions with that. Camille said, yes, because if the system is janky, I'm out. And so I think that's the interesting thing is that, you know, people want to make sure that the systems give them more confidence in their buying decision, not make them more skeptical, right? So it's a very simple process of you saying, okay, if I want to leverage this in-person thing, how can I use tech as a way to give people more confidence in who I am and what I do, not less? Okay. Fantastic. All right. So now here is a good example, and we're going to use what's happening on Thursday. Again, I want to remind you that this is taking place on both LinkedIn and on YouTube. Now, I love when you guys engage on YouTube. Do not get me wrong. But if I were you and you were interested in networking on LinkedIn, I would RSVP and even circle back after this live stream with some of the tips that I'm going to share with you. I also want to bring this up because this was super wild and I was shocked. I've got to email them today. So I won't say the name of the brand because it's not like solidified yet. But one of the things that I have been focusing on in 2025 is growing my LinkedIn presence by doing various things. We've talked about this in coaching calls and on live streams, so I won't give you a full recap. However, I will say this. I have become more and more clear about how I can support bigger brands, not just focusing on, oh, I'm just trying to grow my numbers with more students, but really trying to get corporations to wrap their head around how I can support them. So I had a call on Friday, I believe, with a recruiter. Now, hear me when I say, I have never had a full-time job working for somebody else. So the fact that a recruiter was reaching out to me on LinkedIn was just like baffling to me because I'm like, I'm very clearly an independent business owner. I hadn't thought about going to work for somebody else. So how did I even get on your radar? So at the end of the day, this particular company is an educational training company looking for instructors. And so because of how I had my LinkedIn profile set up, it triggered whatever it is within a recruiter LinkedIn profile that I could offer training opportunities for this company. So she and I went back and forth in the DMs, and she was super busy. So she was like, hey, do you have a number where I can hop on and give you a phone call? Well, again, I had systems in place, and I said, hey, I would love to connect with you, but I actually would love to actually meet over a video call so that I can record the call, have my meeting notes and what have you. If we need to refer to it later, it also gives me the ability to screen share. So even though she was offering me an opportunity to talk on the phone so that we could like knock this thing out, I wanted to make sure that we use something that would help me to be the most professional and get the most out of that opportunity. So we got on the call and we were able to talk about what made sense for both of us in terms of collaborating on some future training opportunities. And so I'm going to be able to follow up with her today with kind of my proposal, whatever, about how we could work together. I'm not trying to become an employee, and we're very clear that that's not where this is going. However, there is an opportunity for me to be a 1099 through them and utilize some of the systems I already have in place for my own business and essentially just be a subcontractor through them. I'm giving you all that information to say, I think so many times we box ourselves into, well, this is how I'm going to book more workshops. Well, this is how I'm going to grow my membership. Well, this is how I'm going to become more well-known as an educator. Or this is how I am going to just stay in business in general, that I've got to follow this particular formula. Clarity with your business marketing may also grow your network with people that you would have never had on your radar. And so, when she and I talked and we discussed what that opportunity could look like, I'm like, in no way, shape, or form did I see this coming. Like I couldn't have sketched this out on a piece of paper or on a vision board to save my life, because this is so outside of what I typically do. However, it's leveraging systems I already have in place. It's leveraging expertise I already have, and it's a fantastic partnership opportunity. And so I want to explain to you that growing your LinkedIn is not just about just getting more likes on your posts or just getting people to share your content. You are actually teaching the LinkedIn algorithm what you offer so that when recruiters or event planners are looking for educators and experts and coaches and consultants, that they can find you, that your account gets triggered in that search result. And so it was just an eye-opening opportunity for me to say, okay, I'm being a little closed-minded in terms of who this content is for and who is going to see it. So I give you all that context to say, be prepared to talk to people, to think outside of the box, to bring people into what you're doing, and also communicate with clarity on your LinkedIn, regardless of how often you post. So you simply show up in the search results for what people are looking for when they're ready to find you. Okay. So there is that. So that being said, let me go back to the LinkedIn event that is going to be taking place this week. And so there are opportunities for you to grow your brand simply by engaging with this event. Okay. So I want to break down that mindset. Camille said, LaShonda, you were prepared. LOL. What a great example. Yes. I mean, when I tell you it was so left field, I'm like, why is a recruiter? I didn't have like open to work on my profile. I'm like, what in the world? And so I asked her, the typical question, how did you find out about me? And she was like, oh, I'm a recruiter and I have a recruiter account on LinkedIn, and you showed up in the search. And so that was just a good opportunity to be reminded that you're always looking for work on LinkedIn in terms of marketing what it is that you do, no matter how often you post. Posting often is great. Having a clear profile is the best. Okay. So when we look at this particular event, okay, one of the things I want you to think about, and like I said with Lolita, repost the event, okay? Reposting the event is going to share this event with your community. But reposting events that you are attending is another way for you to get on the radar of the event host. Okay. So in my case, many of you, I know you because you're a member. I know you because you're a loyal follower or you watch my YouTube content. But this immediately put Dr. Lolita back on my mind because I went into my LinkedIn and saw I had a notification and I was like, boom, there she is. She helped me market this event. So now she is top of mind simply because she took a piece of content that I did and put it in front of her audience. So how many times have you attended, I'm talking like big experts like an Amy Porterfield or a Pat Flynn or a Jess Ekstrom or a Hannah Branch or all these different people. How many times have you just RSVP for an event, but you never told people that you were attending it or that you were tuning in? I want you to think about that mindset, especially on platforms like LinkedIn. It could help on Instagram, but I'm telling you, there's a direct correlation between RSVPing for a LinkedIn event and reposting it. Because a lot of people don't take advantage of that feature, it is a very easy way for you to take yourself from being just an attendee to being top of mind for the person putting on the event and also top of mind for the people speaking at it. So now Paulina's being notified, Twama's being notified, Taylor's being notified. And so that's a very easy way to go like, I keep seeing this name. I keep seeing them support. Like, let me go check that person out. Let me go make sure I'm following what they're doing. Not only that, but in LinkedIn, the first part of your LinkedIn bio shows up next to your name whenever you're commenting or reposting. And so immediately I'm able to see who that person is and what it is that they do at a glance. So reposting is huge. Engaging in the comments is another thing. And again, I'm talking specifically about LinkedIn. The reason why I'm focusing more on LinkedIn events and not so much Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, what have you, is because it's so business centric. You engaging in the comments on these LinkedIn events is fantastic because what a lot of LinkedIn hosts are going to do is they're going to go back and they're going to engage on those comments when the live stream is over. And that's going to get the live stream in front of more people. Okay. Now you might be watching me on YouTube and maybe you haven't said a thing the entire live stream, even though I've asked. It's all good. If you don't say a single thing on YouTube, it's like, okay, fine. I'm just tuning in. I'm watching the replay, what have you. But specifically on LinkedIn, people get notified in their notifications when people comment on a LinkedIn Live. So engaging is not only a way for you to get attention from the event host, but for people attending the event to see what you're doing. Be like, oh my gosh, who is this person like giving so much good advice? Who is this person, chiming in with all the support? Let me go check that person out. I have followed people from comments on an event I have attended. Very easy way for you to grow on LinkedIn without having to post more content. Okay. So just trying to get you to branch out. Connect with other attendees, okay? Because by you attending this event, you're saying, I am interested in the topic and the people associated with this event. This is specifically about women in tech founders, people who have created tech solutions to small business problems. So if you're interested in Hype HQ or what Twama's building or NG, this is a great way for you to connect with them, but also you can see who else is showing up for the event. When you are able to see the list of attendees for these online events, that's a fantastic opportunity for you to start networking, for you to start following their content, for you to check and say, is this someone who I might be interested in having on my podcast, or I might be interested in having, speak to my membership community or what have you. Don't forget, the event host is curating an experience that not only suits you, but could potentially suit your target customer if it's related, right? So this may not be helpful if you're RSVPing for a cooking live stream and you are a licensed professional counselor. But for something that is business centric like this, I would totally connect with other attendees that make sense, or simply follow their content so that, you can keep them top of mind. All right. Now, obviously, I'm going to give a little shout out to my membership. Joining an online community and collaborating with other members is a great opportunity for you to network, whether it is online or in person. How many times have you in person? I'll use an example of a church because I'm a Christian and I attend church regularly, right? By you being at a specific church, you're saying not only that you have a certain belief about the Lord, but that you want to approach it a certain way, that you have certain values that you want to see implemented on a regular basis, whether you value children's ministry or outreach and evangelism or good music or compelling sermons. Like, by you being in that specific environment, you're saying a lot about yourself just by you being there. Same thing would apply to a nonprofit. If you are passionate about social justice, by you being a member of a certain nonprofit, you are saying, these are the things I value. So joining online communities is huge. It's not just for providing support to you specifically, but it's also about, let me see who I'm surrounded by. Let me see who else is interested in this perspective or in this person. And how can we support each other? How can we collaborate? How can we work together? And so that is why I started working on that Airtable directory of the members so that you guys could start talking to each other, so that you could say, okay, you're trying to grow on LinkedIn. You're trying to grow on Instagram. You do this for your business. Here's what I do. How can we work together to co-market an event? How can we trade newsletter mentions? How can we maybe host a roundtable of our own? What can we do together? And so I've seen some of these things take off, where Shelby's reached out to Lisa to have her on her live stream, or Shelby's reached out to Trisha to have her on to talk about being a virtual assistant. So joining online communities is not just a one-way street between you and the community host or manager. It's also an opportunity for you to say, these are things I value. These are things I'm trying. How can I include other members in what I'm doing? And so I have found, even in my case, some of my members end up teaching some workshops for the community because they have an area of expertise that I don't have. A great example is Lex coming in to teach. Lex is very good at growth marketing, and she's got more experience in that area than I do. So by me leveraging her expertise as an educator, not only is she a member, but I also give her an opportunity to be platformed to the audience. Okay. So I say all that to say, don't just join community for you to connect to the person you want to learn from. Think about, who are they drawing in and how can you be more involved with them to collaborate? The last thing I want to bring to your attention is something new that I have been doing this year. And I have found that this has been a phenomenal way for me to get, I wouldn't even call it necessarily mentorship. Maybe peer support is a better way, or brainstorming opportunities, is hosting a mini mind. So I call it a mini mind versus a mastermind because it's very low committal and it's also not a paid offer. This is something that some of my online business friends who are like-minded in how they want to approach their business, we get together. I believe it's every other month. We may go down to quarterly. I'm not sure. But it's just an opportunity for us to get on a call, an hour and a half call, so that everybody has opportunities to talk and to really talk about what is going well in your business. What are some of the roadblocks you are hitting? What are some of the things that you aspire to do? And so sometimes in business, especially when you're running an online business, you may not have people in your immediate circles who understand what you're even trying to accomplish. Online business is not something that people go to school to specialize in. I know that there are some colleges that are adding entrepreneurial tracks and degree paths for people, but most online business owners have formal training in something else. They have training in their area of expertise. They may have a business degree. But at the end of the day, they don't have a online business owner degree. And so simply by you providing an opportunity for other like-minded people to help you to work through some of those roadblocks, or even just to have an opportunity to share what's going well, that's another way to expand your network and open yourself up to opportunities. You don't have to go into it thinking, okay, I know I'm going to get this amount of business connections from this, or this is going to grow my Instagram, or this is going to increase my website traffic. But even just being able to say, hey, I am bogged down with work. Does anybody know of a good VA? Or I am bogged down with my accounting. Does anybody know of a good CPA or a good website option for bookkeeping or accounting? This is something I'm struggling with. Having a group of people where you get to have, that close-knit call to be able to kind of follow each other in your business journeys and to share what's working and to share resources and make connections. It's hard to put a price, a value on that, but I can tell you it is valuable, right? So often with networking, you have those people who go into it thinking like, the business cards are the first part of the conversation and all people are looking at is to make the business cards rain. And I'm telling you right now, everybody doesn't need your business card that you meet. But when you have an informal connection that is super valuable and you really feel like, okay, this is somebody I need in my network, this is someone I need in my life, then have those systems in place, whether you are in person or online, to take that relationship to the next level and to make it very clear, like, I want to include you in my life. I want to support you. How can you support me? Make it very clear. So these are just some networking tips that I just thought would be really helpful, because I think we spend a lot of time focused on, I just need numbers. I need a bigger list. I need a bigger following. But there are so many people, you will be shocked. There are so many people with large followings that are not making any money because they don't have relationship with those people. It's just a number. The people are just a number to them, and they are just a number to their audience. And so I want you to try to shift your focus and say, how can I develop more meaningful connections with people to increase my network? And by having a large network, that will help me to increase my net worth and not be so focused on sale, number. Okay. So I'm going to hop over to the comments. We got a couple more minutes. I want to make sure that I didn't miss any questions. And then we're going to land the plane for this week. I am going to try my best to live stream next Monday, but I fly back next Monday from Austin. So I am at the mercy of whatever internet is in my vicinity, whether it's in the airport or it's at my friend's house. We shall see. So in the event that I am not able to live stream next Monday, I will have content that will go live at 10 and I will engage in the comments. So you'll know for sure in next week's email. I just want to give you a heads up. My flight back is literally on Monday. So we shall see what happens. I'm also interested in potentially live streaming vertically directly in the YouTube app. So we'll see how that works out. So again, if you liked this live stream, make sure that you like it to help increase the replays. For those of you who have monetized YouTube accounts, don't forget to go back and turn on monetizations of your live streams, because you can't monetize it until the stream is over. Many of you are forgetting to do that. So just a quick reminder on that front. Okay, let's see. Making the business cards ring. You know what I mean? Some people don't even think about it. They're just like, oh, everyone needs my card. Oh, do you have my card? Here's my card. Do you have my card? Here's my card. You got to be strategic about that for sure. Adrian says definitely need to connect and share more. And that's the thing, guys. Like I will tell you, just being present, just being having that time set aside. And Hype HQ, again, one last shout out for that, is super great, because what I do is I will set aside 10 to 15 minutes in the morning just to go through and to network through the platform and say, who's looking for hype on their content? Let me hop over, give them some likes, give them a thoughtful comment, help their content to get in front of more people. And then I'm able to network within that community again, simply by engaging on their content. So I will make sure that I link to Hype HQ in the comments. It's very simple, lashondabrown.com/hype to get started for free if you're trying to grow on LinkedIn. And again, the LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live will be on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you're able to attend, I would love to have you. If nothing else, try to apply some of those things we talked about today by RSVPing and repost, and I'll make sure I engage on your repost. All right, I don't think I missed anything else in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and land the plane. But thanks again for being here live. I will let you know for sure what next Monday is going to look like. But until next time, ta-ta for now.